For what, almost 20 years now, our entire digital world has lived inside a little glowing rectangle that we keep in our pockets. But what if that's all about to change? Seriously, we might be standing on the edge of a huge shift in how we deal with technology, one that could make the screen itself totally obsolete. And look, this isn't just some wild idea floating around. As tech analyst Benedict Evans points out, the smartphone has kind of hit a plateau. I mean, sure, it's gotten faster, the cameras are better, but the basic way we use it, tapping and swiping on a grid of little squares, is basically a digital fossil at this point. The whole foundation is starting to feel old, and the entire industry is desperately searching for what comes next.
And this is where it gets really interesting. You've got Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, and Jony Ive, the literal design legend behind the iPhone, teaming up. They look at this situation not as a problem, but as a massive opportunity. The question they're asking themselves is a big one. How do you replace the single most successful consumer product in human history?
To really get what they're up to, you first have to understand the ridiculous scale of what they're taking on. This isn't just about a new app or a slightly faster phone. This is about blowing up and reinventing a market that basically defines modern life. $500 billion. Let that sink in. That's the size of the mountain they're planning to move. And to disrupt something that massive, you can't just come out with a better product. No, you need a whole new way of thinking about technology itself. So what is this radical new vision exactly? Well, it's all built on a really powerful idea and an even more powerful partnership. Let's meet the guys who are drawing up the blueprints for our screen-free future. You've got Sam Altman on one side, whose company OpenAI is at the absolute bleeding edge of artificial intelligence. And on the other, you have Jony Ive, the guy who basically taught us how technology should look and feel with things like the iPod and the iPhone. Them working together isn't just a project, it is a massive statement about where tech is heading. So the heart of their whole plan is this thing called context-aware AI. Now, don't think of this like Siri or Alexa just waiting for you to bark a command at it. This is totally different. This is an AI that gets your environment, understands your habits, and processes everything, from the sounds around you to the way you're moving, to figure out what you need before you even realize you need it. And this quote from Jony Ive really gets to the core of their philosophy. His vision is a piece of technology that's so intuitive it just disappears. It's not something you're staring down at, but something that just weaves itself into your life so seamlessly that you use it, as he says, almost without thought. And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. Things are moving, and they're moving fast. With OpenAI dropping a cool $6.5 billion to acquire Ive's startup and a target ship date as early as 2027, the clock is officially ticking. This is happening. But of course, Altman and Ive aren't the only ones who see this giant opportunity. The race to define what comes after the smartphone is seriously heating up, and all the other tech giants are placing their own huge bets. It's becoming a full-blown arms race. Let's just quickly break down the key players. You've got OpenAI and Ive going for what they call an invisible copilot. Then there's Google, which is pushing for an all-seeing guide with its AI glasses. And finally, you have Meta, who wants its glasses to be the ultimate social connector. So right there, you have three totally different philosophies, all battling to control our future. Now, Google's ace up its sleeve is something called Project Astra. See, the biggest problem with wearable AI right now is the lag, that super awkward pause while the machine is thinking. Astra is being designed to process audio and video in real time, so it's constantly understanding what's going on and can respond almost instantly. If they can kill that delay, it could be the key to making these things actually feel natural to use. And you absolutely cannot count Meta out of this race. By teaming up with Ray-Ban, they sold 7 million pairs of their smart glasses just last year. That gives them a massive head start. They already have millions of users in the wild collecting real-world data to build on. But, you know, as exciting as all this is, let's pump the brakes for a second. The road ahead is filled with enormous challenges, because building the cool new tech is one thing, getting the entire world to actually use it is a whole other ballgame. And analyst Carolina Milanese hits the nail on the head here. The biggest obstacle isn't the engineering, it's us, it's our psychology. We've spent decades learning to trust what we can see on a screen. It gives us a sense of control. Trying to shift that deeply ingrained habit to just trusting a voice in your ear, that is a monumental task.
So these are really the four huge walls they all have to smash through. Beyond just getting people on board, you have AI accuracy. I mean, if your navigation app gets a turn wrong, it's annoying. But what if a health AI makes a mistake? The stakes get a lot higher. Then there's privacy. How do we get comfortable with a device that's always listening, always watching, in our most personal moments? And finally, you've got connectivity. Most of this AI lives in the cloud, which means it's basically a paperweight without a perfect internet connection. And this forecast from Gartner really brings us back down to earth. They predict that even a few years from now, in 2027, 70% of our interactions with AI will still happen on a screen. So this isn't going to be like flipping a switch. It's going to be a long, slow transition. Okay, so despite all those hurdles, the potential here is just staggering. So let's look past the problems for a minute and try to imagine what our everyday lives could actually look like if this all comes together. Tech futurist Kai-Fu Lee has a great way of describing this shift. He says we're moving away from having devices that are just passive tools, waiting for us to tell them what to do, to having proactive co-pilots that are constantly helping us navigate our lives. So in your home, this could mean an AI that doesn't just wait for you to say, turn on the lights, but actually learns your daily routine and just does it for you. Out in the world, it could be a real-time translator whispering in your ear or a reminder that pops up because it knows where you are. But maybe the most powerful use case is in a field where data can be a matter of life and death: healthcare. Just imagine a doctor or a nurse in an ICU. For a single patient, they're tracking over 1,000 different data points: heart rate, oxygen levels, blood pressure, you name it. An AI copilot could constantly analyze that flood of information, spotting tiny patterns a human might miss, and flagging a potential crisis before it even happens. It could become an invaluable guardian angel for medical teams. And the market potential here is just astronomical. The healthcare wearables industry is projected to explode to over $400 billion. This isn't just about convenience anymore. We're talking about a fundamental revolution in how we monitor and manage our own health. Which really brings us to the final, crucial question. As these technologies completely blur the line between our digital and physical lives, creating what some thinkers call an on-life, a new reality where being online and offline are the same thing, what kind of future are we actually building? Is it one where we're more present, more connected to the real world? Or is it a future where we each end up living in our own private, algorithm-driven reality? That, right there, is the multi-billion-dollar question these companies are racing to answer.